Okay, morning, afternoon, and good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. We're going to be talking a bit about the pluses and minuses of Squad Obliteration and Domination. I'm going to start with a quick introduction. I'm Milos the Medic. I'm usually a caster for Battlefield 4, but casting since BF3, but really invested in BF4. I casted multiple tournaments and organizations and whatever, so I think I know what I'm talking about to some extent. We're going to compare the two modes, Squad Obliteration and Domination, to see just the positives and the negatives of each one of those, and to help clear out the debate that's been going on for the past X amount of time about the modes. And it's all feedback done by not only public players, but a lot of competitive players, organizers for events, casters, administrators, etc., from multiple backgrounds. So the opinions here are pretty good. However, I do invite your extra opinions in YouTube comments or on Twitter or whatever you may see the video. But yep, that is the thing. Other than that is that we won't be really covering Battlefield 3 Conquest and Squad Rush, because I know a lot of people want them, but we can't have them because BF4 maps don't function like BF3. So Conquest Small does not work on those. They work for 8v8 most of the time. And then Squad Rush, it cannot be brought. It's Squad Obliteration. Obliteration was marketed with BF4, so that was the best thing that we could come up with. Remember, I'm only caster. I don't do anything most of the time, or like 99.99% of the time. I don't get anything out of what I do, so nobody is pressuring me to do anything. Just keep that in mind. But the pluses of Domination, and there are quite a few actually. Knowing how spawns are affected by flag caps, the ticket bleed speed, depending on the flags that you're capping, 2 flags, 3 flags, that's pretty simple to understand. Map positioning and rotations depending on those flag caps and on the respawns that are forced by it. It's been played for 4 seasons of ESL and a lot of other tournaments. It's pretty easily playable as well on BF4 public servers for practice, so that this morning, just like 30 minutes before recording this by Fnatic, I'm fixed, which is a very good point for Domination. And it's easy to understand for most people, whether it be just players that want to go into it competitively, or just public players and viewers that want to understand what's going on. It's very easy to explain by casters as well. We can't really just nullify the fact that casters do exist. It's a big part of how competitive games work. The minuses of Dominations, the flags are much heavier, as in commitment to the game mode itself, than the frags in terms of ticket bleed. The squad wipes have their place in the game, but respawning is quick and easy, so staying alive is not really that important. I know there are people that will debate otherwise, but I've seen and played enough of these games to see that the teams will have like maybe 1 or 2 player on rotations that respawn the extra players, and that's it. You can just respawn on the other side and take control, or maybe have a lucky spawn, which happens quite a bit actually, and we know it, we just don't say it. Let's keep that in mind. The map strats are limited to breakouts, which is pretty annoying for us, and rotations, and that's about it most of the time, depending on the flag caps and all of that. But the strats are mostly made up on site by the players, and we saw that even at ESL 1. It was the thing with Fnatic when they were playing against Dexterity. A lot of the strats that they were doing were on site. A lot of the teams as well. Not just that. It's just taking one game as an example. It's mostly chaotic compared to most of the played modes like Conquest and all of that, which sort of have a logical movement lattice system, if you will, between the different flags, depending on what they do, what they spawn, etc. However, these are the plus and minuses of Domination. Feel free to add to them. That would be pretty helpful in the debate. But the pluses of Squad Obliteration: larger maps that cater to the nature of Battlefield, added masses of cover to facilitate movement around the map, and well, it adds 2 spawns to ease attention on teams that are being spawn attacked, and they have they can handle breakouts on maps much more differently, as all maps have 2 main base spawns. Actually, that it's been added, I believe, a few months ago, so it is in live, has been for a few months now. The bomb spawns in mostly consistent areas, and so you can plan around it. It spawns in an area that is almost in the middle of the map, and it depends on your own movements. Try to pick it up and move around the map, try to use the masses of cover that have been added to the mode, because before, if you look at it, there was pretty much no cover on the map. Makes multiple tactics and adds to the analysis part of casters. It makes us relevant that when we talk about these different tactics and nade spots, etc., and all these cover positions and the places where you can really pick off players and use the different classes on different maps, that makes it much more interesting for people to try and understand. It's the best thing that we can have without having a cash system, or let's say the additions and the extra pickups that you buy in League of Legends or the cash system in CSGO. It resembles the CSGO main mode, which a lot of people to play, if they're Battlefield competitive players or not. Helps bring extra people into it pretty easily. It has the Battlefield touch though, the maps to cover, the squad system, the class system that really works on quite a few of the maps, the MCOs and multiple passages to limit the choke points, encourage the flanks, and the very important squad wipes. Squad cohesion and comms are more important due to the respawn timer, which is 8 seconds normally, and 15 seconds on the squad wipe. More teamwork, more squad practice for map strats regarding bomb spawn, flanks, rotations, defense, nade spots, cover movement, and encouraging using multiple classes depending on the map, so not to reinforce it. The negatives of Squad Obliteration, however, are as follows, and they are: the 2 squad wipes in a row almost always spell disaster for the team that have been affected. It's pretty much GG at that point. But it's the same with the highly praised Squad Rush mode in Battlefield 3. Keeping that in mind. Certain maps are a bit too large, with not so perfect made base spawns can take a bit too long to get into position, but adding the multiple bases balance it out to some extent. It's difficult to have players and just viewers understand it off the start by a caster especially. It requires, explanatory video or script or something, or just a lot of practice and a lot of usage to be able to explain it in a timely and orderly fashion. You don't want to spend 10 minutes to explain it. We want to have this out in less than a minute, and at some point we just want to stop saying it. It's difficult to practice on public servers because there's pretty much no servers that run it, and the ones that run, there's nothing on it, and then nobody plays it. Because of the popularity of Conquest Large, which is the meat of Battlefield, and Domination, TDM for warm-ups, even though I rarely ever touch them. But it's not my point here, it's all about the feedback from the players. It was released after 4 seasons of Domination that have been played, so it makes transitions by earlier players, which are many, very difficult. That is the main point, honestly. And there are no flags to cap, which can detract from Conquest, which is played, or Domination, that are mostly played by a large part of the community, which is very true, and it is a pretty good site. So these are the pluses and the minuses of Domination, of Squad Obliteration, and the only point is just to expose them here and say them to everybody. So if you ever have this debate, you can refer yourself to this, to maybe the YouTube comments, and I really invite feedback in a very adult manner, not in the way that I've been seeing it when it was presented to me personally, because to some extent it was pretty much making fun of everything that we've ever done. So that is pretty childish, but I do prefer YouTube comments, rebuttals, Twitter, battle log posts, whatever, Reddit, wherever you might be. I want to hear and I want to see it. A video is much easier to present these points than just having a document, which adds quite a bit to the interaction, and we've been used to interacting with viewers, with players, and organizers and admins and all. Anyways, this is gonna end here. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay that might or might not have worked in the Adobe Premiere processing, but thank you for being around. Please, I do invite your feedback again. Let us know. This is Milos. I'll see you on the battlefield. Hopefully one that actually satisfies everybody.